Hey, this is Justin Jesso, and my new single, Let It Be Me with Nina Nesbitt, is out now. Kygo. So my collab with Kygo is a song called Stargazing, which I wrote and sing on. And I wrote it with some friends in LA on a Monday, and on Tuesday, the stems were sent to Kygo. On Wednesday, we got a version back from him, and by Friday, it was a confirmed single. It came out 2 months later. And in those 2 months, the label actually pushed to try to get a bigger artist on it. And it was Kygo who stood up to the label and said, no, I want Justin's voice, that's authentic, he wrote it, we want to keep him on it, that's the art we want to release. So I'm actually forever grateful to Kygo for doing that. And then it got released and it did what it did, and now I'm here. I would describe my sound as pop soul. I grew up listening to Stevie Wonder and James Brown and Otis Redding and Michael Jackson and Aretha Franklin and Whitney Houston, so I consider myself a soul singer, but I write pop songs. I've been a songwriter for many years, writing songs for Ricky Martin and Maluma and Kygo and Armin van Buuren and newcomers like Harvey and AJ Mitchell and Nina Nesbitt now. And so I write pop music and I sing it hopefully with soul. So I call it pop soul. So let it be me. My favorite kind of music to listen to is old soul music. But recently, some of the people that I look up to, some of my idols outside of Stevie Wonder, who's the ultimate for me, Bruno Mars is doing amazing things. I love John Legend. I love Ryan Tedder as a songwriter. His writing style is really awesome. I really love Jack Garrett as kind of like a more underground UK artist. I take a lot from his sound, and I just met Tom Walker, whose music is fantastic. And I listen to Nina Nesbitt a lot. But when I write, inspiration comes from all different places, but usually it's from life experiences. I write a lot about my past relationships. I write a lot about things that I'm feeling about the world. I have a song coming out in September, and the first line, which is probably the favorite line I've ever written, is, I don't want to end up in a hospital room holding nobody's hand. So it's either relationships or truisms that I feel about my life, and they usually make their way into my songs. I've always had a love of music. When I was a kid, I was the kid who always went for the plastic microphone over the plastic football. When I was 1 year old, my mom tells the story that I was crying and crying and crying, and she put on Whitney Houston singing the national anthem, and I immediately shut up and then started singing along. And then it was over, and I'd cry and cry and cry. So whenever she wanted to get me to stop crying, she would put on Whitney Houston singing the national anthem. And funnily enough, in college, I called my mom, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, I've just been on this wormhole on YouTube, just like, I've been watching this video over and over and over again. Have you ever seen the video of Whitney Houston singing the national anthem? And she told me this story. So yeah, I've always been in love with music. Let it be me. Let it be me. My new single, Let It Be Me, is what I would say to the person who I want to spend the rest of my life with. It was born out of my ex was depressed, and I wanted to let her know that for the good and the bad and the ugly and everything in between, no matter what, I would be there. So that was the inspiration that I drew from to write the song. And now the song as it stands is what I would want to say to the person who I want to spend the rest of my life with. Which I guess now that I put Nina Nesbitt on the record, is Nina Nesbitt's. Hi Nina! I'll take the now and the past and the future. You can lose me, but my future wife? Working with Nina was awesome. Sometimes these collaborations take a long time or are really difficult to work out, and this one was so easy. I saw her in concert and just fell in love with her voice and her personality on stage, and I met her afterwards and she was so lovely and warm, and the second I heard her voice, I knew this is what I needed on Let It Be Me to complete the record, because I always felt like it was missing something, and I always thought it would be a great duet. And she heard the record and said yes immediately and jumped on, and I'm really grateful because she really brings it home.